Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing my first review for the second half of The Walking Dead Season 5. We saw the premiere tonight of Season 5, Episode 9, which is called What Happened and What's Going On. Okay, and as always, my reviews do contain spoilers, so major spoiler warning for those who haven't seen the episode yet. You're going to want to watch this one before you watch my review this week, because surprisingly, this episode was pretty unpredictable. I mean, there are certain things about it. Okay, so major spoiler warning. If you're still here, then you don't care about spoilers. Otherwise, click off right now. So let's just get out of the way. We see the death of Tyreese. Pretty crazy to think that they would start off the second half of the season with the death right off the bat, since we just got one. And as this episode illustrated very well, of course, we had the one with Bob before that too. So this one was pretty unexpected for me that they would kill someone off right away. I really wouldn't have thought that they would kill off a character in the very first episode, especially such a big character like Tyrese, because he's a character that's been there since about halfway through the third season, so he's going on over 2 seasons in The Walking Dead. That's a pretty good amount of time to survive, right? He might not have been one of the original survivors, but he feels almost like he was, because he was there for, he was a heavy concentration in the prison arc. There was a time skip in there. He was there for more time there, and he's been kind of a mainstay in the group for the last couple of seasons as a character that's always there. This episode was shot it took a basic storyline that is really simplistic and, okay, Tyrese dies. There's a story. Or, okay, here's the story to sum it up, right? Noah goes back to Shire Wilt Estates, which is kind of like a remix sort of Wiltshire. It's not that similar to the comic book location, Shire Wilt Estates. Okay, so they go to Shire Wilt, which is 500 miles away from where they were, or just over that, and they find the place is basically destroyed. There's nobody there. They're getting tired of being on the road all the time. Then you have Tyrese gets bitten, Tyrese dies. That's the story. That's the whole episode story. But the way they shot it, it just made that story so much better when you actually saw it fleshed out in the way that they told it. They used some really awesome tactics in this one that I recall seeing in Breaking Bad. Better Call Saul, by the way, will be the review of that will be up later tonight. But it reminds me a lot of Breaking Bad in shows. It's not the only one. There's other shows that do this too, where they'll show you something near the beginning of the episode that's out of place. And then later on in the episode, it makes sense. It's like, oh, it ties back in. Like, say the last one, where we saw Shane, he's shaving his head, and then afterwards, okay, it makes sense now why he's doing that. It kind of ties back into the beginning. This one did that like crazy, because the entire introductory sequence, you didn't really know. I mean, some of it you knew what you're seeing, but the rest is like, the first time you're watching it, like, this is like weird. Like, why is there blood dripping on this picture that reminds you of I guess the house that they were in at the Grove, or kind of, but not really. And you have Mika and Lizzie, like, what are they doing? What are they doing here? Came out of nowhere, and they had a good number of those in this episode. So, and then the best kind of mix or tie back in from that sequence that they showed us was that the burial was actually not for Beth, it was for Tyrese, and that just threw me through a loop. I was like, wow, I just didn't see that the first time. The first time I thought it was no brainer, they're burying Beth. But we've had a time skip. They've traveled all this way. They're all the way here now in Virginia, Richmond, at Shire Wilt. And yeah, that is actually not Beth. That's for Tyrese. Really sad ending, man. Especially when they took his hat, his toque, and they put it on top of the sticks, the cross sticks. Man, really, really sad. And also that Rick actually goes to dig him back up after they buried him. Because of course he has to put him down, which was a nice tie-in with the comic book series, where Rick kind of has to go back and dig someone up, because once they learn that even if they're not bitten, in Tyrese's case he was, but they cut it off, right, that they would come back, reanimate. So there was a lot of like remix type tie-ins or things that felt similar to the comic book series that I won't get too much into, but that was one of them, and just really interesting ways they did things in this one. Giving him kind of a whole episode for a simplistic storyline, but then having these hallucinations come in. So let's talk about those, of course. you have, and they hit me like a ton of bricks, especially the Martin one, because he's kind of like Tyrese's arch enemy, of his life. That guy right there is like the darkest, and so dark. Every time he's in the show, it's so dark. He's a really good villain because he's easy to hate. He's really kind of scary and careless and acts like he knows everything. And he's like, here is the ghost of him, his hallucination for Tyreese. Whether or not Tyrese is like dying and he's like stuck in limbo, or he's just hallucinating from the blood loss. And we've seen some zombie hallucinations and stuff from characters getting bitten before, because it burns them out, and the heat can cause that too, right? So somehow he's getting this hallucination, and it's like you can't shake this guy. He comes back, and I really like that they brought the actor back to actually do that. And then in addition to that, we had Lizzie and Mika, which was creepy as always, really, really creepy. It's better now and everything. And then, of course, Beth, the fangirls go wild, right? All the fangirls go nuts. They were right. I was wrong. I said they were going to bring her back. Now they didn't exactly bring her back, but they brought her back, as a hallucination, which was really cool to see Emily Kinney in the episode. And for the first time, I'll say, I actually liked her singing in an episode. I shouldn't say, well, yeah. Yeah, I should probably say that. She's not a bad singer or anything, but it actually made sense in this episode this time. That's kind of one of her skills anyway. It's one of the things she does, so I guess it made sense prior to. But in this episode, I actually did like it. I did like it quite a bit. It was really good for that kind of trance type hallucination type state that Tyrese was in, and they shot it really well from his perspective. The camera angles, like some first person, some slow mo, and things like that. And you really get the sense that between these hallucinations he's having a battle in himself of whether or not he wants to give up, if it's okay to give up, or whether or not he wants to keep fighting and fight through it and try to his best to strive on, which eventually it seems to me like he has no choice. He's lost too much blood, and it's going to happen anyway. But it seems like he kind of does, turn the radio off. So the other hallucinations. So the best one was probably, one of the best, but for me, it wasn't it probably would be the best for most viewers. For me, the best one was the governor. When the governor showed up, man, I was like, oh my God, they got David Morrissey to come back to do it. That was just insane. And also, the scene where he's coming at him and he turns into a zombie as he's coming down. And oh my God, that was an exciting scene too. The zombie that he actually allows him to bite him again, as if it wasn't bad enough, so that he can actually beat the zombie, because he's been, he's obviously been bitten prior by that little Noah's little twin brother ninja zombie, which I actually liked it too, because you with zombies, you get any human who turns into a zombie, you get a different variety of types, right? You'd get some big humans that would turn into big zombies. They're going to be hard to take down, harder than most. Like if you had let's say you had a 6'5" zombie, which we've had some big ones, right? Like the one that came out in season 2 out of the broken glass with Rick when him and Shane were fighting. Then the opposite, you think one like that would probably be the most dangerous because he's huge, right? But then what about ones like, little teenagers and stuff like this kid who weighs nothing, right? He weighs under 100 pounds, like probably like 80 pounds, right? And Tyrese is kind of, they've been on the road for a long time. It's obviously hot as hell out there, where the characters are and everything. And you can just see it even from the sun and everything too, right? They're not eating right. They're not getting enough water, so they're tired. They're kind of out of it a little bit, not entirely, but you can see it with Michonne too. When she's killing the zombies, she's like, "Oh, I got to do this again." It's for her. It's like a job. It's like work. It's like, "Oh, damn it, I got to go kill another zombie," right? So you get the sense from him that he's tired, and he doesn't really. He's zoning, looking at these different pictures. It's just tripping him out, of Noah's little brothers. And then the one just comes up out of nowhere and gets him real fast before he has time to respond. So never thought that lighter zombies like that, because you wouldn't be able to hear them as much if they don't growl or whatever. They could be sneaky ninja zombies. So sneaky ninja twin zombie gets Tyreese and we see all the different hallucinations. And yeah, man. Also, the most exciting part was probably, right then when you started to see the hallucinations, you had the governor giving him a post, death talking to, from him, which, one that I would have wanted to see. I was hoping at the very end when the sun came down and the light comes in, right? I was hoping we were going to see Karen. That's what I was hoping. They didn't do it. I don't know if they weren't able to get the actress, if she wasn't interested, but I think that would have been worth it. What do you guys think? I don't know. Write in the comments below. Would you have liked to see Karen at the end, like give him a hug or something? I don't know how they could have done it, but maybe have the character like right next to him holding, like if one of the characters was holding him and, in the back seat and everything and turned into Karen or something like the others did. I don't know. I just think that would have been really cool to see. Also, Bob, I forgot to mention that Bob was there too, and Mr. Positivity's back, and it was just, man, it was a really, really interesting, way for them to go. It was a lot different than what I thought we were going to see this week. That's for sure. So the ending, one of the saddest endings we've had in The Walking Dead. I mean, we've had a lot of sad moments. We've had a lot of sad episodes from, different character deaths, Lori death and Merle and, all the others, Dale. And, oh man, so many, Rick's reaction to Lori finding out and just so many, right? So many really, really sad moments in the series. But I will say that this one still was one of the most, I think, especially when you see Sasha at the end. That's pretty tear-jerking, Yeah, I mean, it was pretty... I thought it was pretty sad, when they were doing the funeral and everything, and Gabriel's given his sermon and everything, and you've got her there. So, so that's everything with regards to Tyreese. We'll do a character spotlight on him this week. If you guys are interested, I'll do that probably Friday or Saturday, or maybe next week. I don't want it, it to seem spoilery to people who haven't seen it, that kind of thing. That said, aside from the Tyreese death, you got Noah. He gets a little bit of background about him. We get to find out a little bit more about him, where he grew up, see his house, everything like that, family. Also, when you see his mom, that was also sad. There was a lot of sad moments in this one. Let's see. And then there was basically them getting there. Zombie Kill of the Week has to be the slow-mo one where Michonne, cuts a zombie's head off. It goes like right off. It goes flying. And then, Rick, where he shoots the other one through. Those were amazing, like the one that goes through there, the female, and then boom, in slow-mo. Really cool. I'd like to see more slow-mo zombie kills like that. Those were amazing. So Zombie Kill of the Week, we go to Michonne for this week, I think. Aside from that, not too much else to say. They could have gone a lot of different directions with the episode. We didn't see them travel the 500 miles. And I think that could have been a whole episode, I mean, they chose not to do it, right? They chose to give us a time skip anyway. But I do feel like that could have been a pretty cool episode. But the only problem is you always have to consider budget, things like that. And I personally thought we were going to see them, travel that distance. But it might seem a little bit too action-y and not enough horror. This one was, the recent kind of style is more horror-based, character horror-based than it is action-based, right, with The Walking Dead right now. So that said, not too much else to mention. I mean, I could go on probably, but I won't. Great episode, great return. Mixed emotions, though. Like when I say great, I'm like, we can see they obviously put a lot of work into it. It was really sad. It was really touching. And I'm glad that he got a whole episode spotlight on him because he was killed off. I don't know how I feel about the decision of them killing him off so soon and in this manner. But I think the purpose of it is to reinforce the danger of zombies, to remind us that just because they're 5 seasons in, that zombies are still a threat to the survivors, and that they're not safe even just because they're out in the open, because there's no governor, there's no Gareth or the others. They could still be bitten at any time, and they really got to be on their game, on their toes, and try to remain healthy. And it looks like the trip might have contributed to what we saw here, at least in my opinion. So let me know what you guys thought about the return episode. Thought it was a good one. Going to give it this is a tough one to rate. I'm going to go with a 9 on this one. 9.5. It doesn't really matter. Let's go with, like Len said, it doesn't matter. You do it. Daryl did it. I do it. It doesn't matter. Yeah, so there it is. So let me know what you guys thought about this week's return episode, how you like this different feel, what you think about the decision of them to kind of skip that big, long journey and show us just this small part of it, I think we could have seen a montage or something of the sort. I'll stick with 9 because I think they could have done something like that, which would have been really cool, kind of an intro part, in addition to what they did, a beginning part of us kind of seeing them get there. Just something along the road, maybe some obstacles, or who knows. I mean, it must have been hard to get 500 miles in a zombie apocalypse, and we didn't get to see much of it. Also wonder how much time it took them to get there. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about all of that. If you liked the video, please do me a favor. Please thumb it up below. Please like it. If you want to help support the channel, please share it. If you have a Facebook or Google+, click the share below. You can share through. And yeah, favorite if you guys want to. If you're new to the channel, you want to subscribe, you want to see more of my reviews reviewed every single episode of The Walking Dead. We'll continue to do so until the day the series ends. Yeah, that's it for this one, guys. See you for the predictions. Will be up tomorrow. Predictions video for what I think is going to happen next week. It's Trev, saying peace.